For today's story, we are covering a developing case in which a U.S. dentist has been accused of killing his wife on safari in Zambia. He says she accidentally discharged the gun. Okay, so maybe the gun went off, or maybe we went on safari to hunt the most dangerous game of all, man. And Bianca Rudolph share a passion for big game hunting. In late September 2016, the couple traveled from their Phoenix home to the southern African nation of Zambia, where Bianca Rudolph was determined to add a leopard to her collection of animal trophies. They carried two guns for the hunt, a Remington .375 rifle and a Browning 12 gauge. Okay, these seem like somewhat questionable choices, but okay, that's what they carried apparently. After killing other animals during their 2-week trip, but unfortunately not a leopard, it wasn't meant to be, Bianca Rudolph never made it home. She suffered a fatal shotgun blast in their hunting cabin at dawn as she was packing to return to Phoenix, federal prosecutors have alleged in court documents. Now Lawrence Rudolph, 67, is charged with foreign murder and mail fraud in the death of his wife of 30 years. And yeah, this murder might have occurred overseas, but they are both U.S. citizens. And because they're both U.S. citizens, the United States does have jurisdiction over the actions of its U.S. citizens, even abroad. So even though this might violate the laws of Zambia, and maybe probably does, yes, it also violates the laws of the United States because they're U.S. citizens and therefore subject to the laws of the United States, no matter where they are. The U.S. government will come for you everywhere. So they're being charged with foreign murder and mail fraud in the death of his wife. He has pleaded not guilty and took the stand in his own defense this week at his trial in Denver. Quote, "I did not kill my wife. I could not murder my wife. I would not murder my wife," he told the jurors. "I feel it." Rudolph told investigators he heard the shot while he was in the bathroom and believed the shotgun actually went off as he was putting it in the case, court documents said. He found her bleeding on the floor of the cabin in the national park in that country. But federal prosecutors alleged Rudolph killed his wife for the insurance money and to be with his girlfriend. He did it for love. CNS reached out to Rudolph's attorney, but not heard back. In a motion filed in January listing his client's assets, he said Rudolph had no financial motive to kill his wife. In court documents, he noted that Rudolph is worth millions, including his dental practice valued at $5 million, or valued at $10 million. Life insurance companies based in Colorado paid Rudolph over $4.8 million after his wife's death. I mean, that's some financial motive. I mean, $5 million is $5 million, damn. In court documents, investigators also alleged that Rudolph quickly sought to cremate his wife's body after the shooting, so maybe a rush to potentially hide some physical evidence. Rudolph scheduled the cremation 3 days after her death, according to court documents. I'm not sure that seems absurdly fast, but what do I know about such things? After he reported her death to the U.S. Embassy in Zambian capital, the consular chief told the FBI he had a bad feeling about the situation, which he thought was moving too quickly. The FBI special agent wrote in a criminal affidavit, maybe tell the consulate after the cremation, not before. As a result, the consular chief and 2 other embassy officials went to the funeral home where the body was held to take photographs and preserve any evidence. When Rudolph found that the embassy officials had taken photos of his wife's body, he was livid. Why did he call them before the cremation is a reasonable question, to be quite honest, in this situation. Rudolph initially told the consular chief that his wife may have died by suicide, but an investigation by Zambian law enforcement ruled it an accidental discharge. So the Zambians say it was accidental. Okay. Zambian investigators conclude the firearm was loaded from the previous hunting activities and normal safety precautions were not taken, causing it to accidentally fire in the fatal incident, according to the court documents. Investigators for the insured reached a similar conclusion and paid on the policies. Quote, Zambian authorities and 5 insurers determined that Bianca Rudolph died accidentally. Witnesses told the FBI that Dr. Rudolph did nothing to interfere in the investigation. No physical evidence supports the government's murder theory, the attorney has written. But federal law enforcement has said there's more to the story. Rudolph orchestrated his wife's death as part of a scheme to defraud life insurance companies and allow him to live openly with his girlfriend, according to the FBI. Federal authorities got involved after a friend of the victim reached out to the FBI and asked the agency to investigate the death because she suspected foul play. The friend said Rudolph had been involved in extramarital affairs in the past and had a girlfriend at the time of his wife's death. Rudolph's then girlfriend, who was not named in court documents, worked as a manager at his dental practice near Pittsburgh and told the former employees she'd been dating him for 15 to 20 years. That is a long time of dating, man. 15 to 20 years, man. Wow. Maybe she was getting a little antsy. After 15 to 20 years. The former employee told the FBI that the girlfriend told her she gave Rudolph an ultimatum of 1 year to sell his dental offices and then leave his wife. 3 months after Bianca Rudolph's death, the girlfriend moved in with him, Pearson wrote in court documents. And that's a little bit suspicious on the timing. An executive director of their subdivision's community association told investigators that Rudolph and his girlfriend tried to buy another home in the same subdivision for $3.5 million. Court documents also allege that evidence shows Bianca Rudolph's wounds came from a shot fired at least 2 feet away. Well, I mean, depending on where we're measuring from, that's the length of a shotgun. An FBI special agent conducted testing to determine, by comparison to photographs from the scene of the death, the approximate position of the shotgun muzzle within the soft case at the time of the discharge, as well as resulting shot patterns that created by firing the shotgun with the case over a barrel at various distances. A forensic medical examiner determined the patterns matching the wounds observed in the photographs of the body were created by a shot from a distance of between 2.5 and 3.5 feet away. At that distance, there's reason to believe Bianca Rudolph was not killed by an accidental discharge, as stated. Dun, dun, dun. Bianca and Rudolph moved from Pennsylvania to Arizona about 4 years before his death. But he's been dating this girl for 15, 20 years. What happened? The assistant moved with him? Rudolph's dental practice remained in Pennsylvania, and he commuted back and forth from his Phoenix home. That's a hell of a commute. That he moves with his wife to Phoenix, but his practice is still in Pennsylvania, and he commutes between Pennsylvania and Phoenix. That's a hell of a commute. Federal authorities allege his wife's murder was premeditated, so he could falsely claim the death was a result of the accident. But Marcus has accused federal officials of relying on shaky evidence. Rudolph's 2 children are confident their father did not kill their mother, and they've signed affidavit in support. Thus, that brings us to the end of the discussion of the U.S. dentist currently being charged with the murder of his wife. They went to stalk a Libra, but he went and stalked his wife instead. Or did he? Because there's a difference of opinion between the U.S. attorney and the Zambia officials, and also the insurance companies which have paid out on the claims. But nevertheless, this charge is ongoing currently in Denver. So, did he do it? Did he do it for the $3.5 million? Did he do it to be with a younger woman? And why on God's earth did he call the consulate before the body was cremated? One can only wonder. These and other questions will be with us. Well, my friends, as it turns out, this dentist was in fact convicted of this murder. So that's a bit weird, I suppose, in some ways, because the Zambian authorities came to a conclusion of accidental death, as well as 5 different life insurance companies. But of course, the U.S. attorney has a trial of its own, which has apparently resulted in the conviction of this U.S. dentist, which means not so much with keeping the $3.5 million of life insurance proceeds, and also means that he's going to federal prison for the rest of his life. So did he do it in order to be disposed of his wife? Did he do it for the money? Did he do it for the girlfriend? Well, we're not sure. But what we are sure is that his later years will be spent on quality time at Uncle Sam's expense in one of its fine prison establishments. And at least for the moment, that brings us to the end of discussion of this story.